Hi everybody, it's Randy here from Happy Maple Nursery, and today I'm going to walk you through some of the techniques we use to take cuttings from Ficus. And so Ficus are really fantastic bonsai. I think they're great for beginners for a lot of reasons. They're quick growing, they take really well to common bonsai techniques. They don't require any special overwintering, can be brought indoors, and they're just generally really attractive trees that make really nice bonsai. So all these ficuses you see here originate from our mother tree here. So cloned very easy. So we're going to show you how we do that and how we develop those as well. Just some basic wiring, where our cuttings come from along the stages of development, things like that. So we've got a pretty typical ficus here. I've already made a few cuts on it. You can see just to take some vigor out of these really strong shoots. We also want these to develop some ramifications. So what we're doing, I'll try to zoom in here, is just show you where we decide to take our cuts. You basically want some buds, which are right at the leaf there on the branch. You want at least two. And so we'll probably cut this guy right here, take this growing tip, remove it, and then we can take these, and I got a couple more here I'll show you, and prep them as cuttings. And so actually this top is getting quite leafy. We want to change the direction too. It's quite long, and so we're just going to probably cut that right there, and you see that these two shoots will now take over. These are grown under lights too, so it also takes some height out of them so they fit on our shelves for the time being. And then maybe we'll just put a bit of wire on some of these. Just to show you real quick, we reuse all of our wire. You can see this is our used wire bin. Especially during development, these aren't going to show or anything, so it's a really great way to cut down on costs and save yourself some money. So we're just going to throw this up. Just got to get something to force these down. Ficuses tend to want to grow upright, which is not so attractive for bonsai. It's hard to develop the pads that way. So we'll just throw a bit of janky wire on there. You can see we're following the two branch principle. So these two branches will make a nice strong anchor point between each other, and you'll be able to really put some basic movement in these and grow them on. Bend these down. Not really sure what will be the front, maybe something like that. So we'll bring that over, bring this up and out, just like that. This guy will maybe come down in the future. This will come back. And we'll go up like that maybe, who knows, who knows. And so we'll find one more piece. It's a really long piece of 1mm wire. So just throw this on. Avoiding any leaf buds that will now wake up because we did the trimming. You don't want your wire to be cutting into them. You could lose those. Just wire this up. And we'll just leave an open coil here. Just like that. We'll just throw some movement in there to get something. Try to pull it back to the viewer. And so something kind of like that. All right, so now we've shown you kind of what we do. Send that to the back. It can be a back branch over here. Well, this comes up. Now you keep an eye on these. These will bite in pretty fast if these are growing vigorously. Not a huge deal. They can leave wire scars. So just keep an eye on them. It's actually growing upwards. So this is by no means final wiring. This is just for now wire, as I like to call it. And there'll be lots of refinement. We're just getting the basic structure in here, maybe some basic pads. We could remove them, could simply come back and cut this all off right there and start developing it like this. Who knows? But what I really want to show you is how we take our cuttings. So we have these, which are our pieces we just cut off. And so these are quite bushy. So I'm going to pull off these leaves, which are really large and kind of in the way. And then we'll just show you how we stick these in some medium and root them. And in fact, I might even take this off. And those may actually root, we'll try. And so we end up with something like this with a couple leaves. We don't want too many. A couple leaves like that. And then what we do, I'll just move this over. And I'll show you, get some of the stuff out of the way. And so over here is a tray of cuttings we've made. So you can see we've got a full tray of cuttings here. These have been taken. Most of them are rooted. Some of them are dropping some leaves, but they're in good shape. And then we have some freshly taken ones as we've been working today. You can see here. And so we'll show you what we do to stick these. So simply take our piece that we've cut, our trimming from our refinement. We'll just take that and dart it down the medium. This medium isn't anything special. It's just composted pine bark, a bit of perlite, lava stone, a few things in there just for drainage. But it's a really quick draining medium. It has a bit of cocoa and a bit of peat in there for moisture retention, since these guys do like to be quite wet relative to some of the pine species we have. So it's just something that we've recycled. These guys are growing quick, vigorous, so we're not too picky on what we put them in at this stage. Obviously, if you're working with a really refined tree, you may want to care about that a bit more, but not at this stage of its life. We're looking for something cost-effective and readily abundant. So we're just going to take this cutting, strip off these lower leaves, just get them out of the way because they will be likely under soil, so we don't want them to be there. They're just not going to be doing much. 2 leaves, pick them up. We'll just dirt that in the soil. Kind of pinch it around so that's good contact. And so you can see you can get quite a few. We'll try these little guys as well. Here's another one. And so all of our ficuses that we're growing here are actually coming from our original tree, as I mentioned. So if you like bonsai, it's a great way to work. We do sell these, so I encourage you, if you want to try, check out our website. We will be throwing up some of these for sale in the local area. They're fairly cost effective, pretty easy to take care of. Great way to get your feet wet into bonsai. So here we've got another one. See, we've got quite a long shoot here. Do we have any buds? So what we're looking for is some buds. If we cut this shoot without any buds, we're not sure where it will back bud. In some cases, you can lose the branch. Back budding is kind of willy-nilly. We want to control it a little more. And you can see that there's a couple. Adjust the camera. There's a couple of buds here. I got this big shoot coming off. We cut it here. You can see there's a cut point, and then it induced this long shoot, this bud to wake up, this bud to wake up, and this bud. So we're actually going to cut these leaves off to encourage these buds to continue to develop. And we may actually cut that off right there. So that's a great little cutting. You can take that, and maybe we'll leave those leaves on. We'll take a couple off. You don't want too many. And so we'll just take this, stick it down into our tray, and that will root in a matter of weeks if kept warm. The other thing that we add is, obviously these guys don't have roots at this stage, so you want to keep them humid. So there's a couple ways to do that. So these are the trays we use. We have these fancy domes. You can control the humidity with these little vents. You don't need these necessarily. A simple bag with an elastic over the pot, something like this. Just cover it with a bag. Will work great. You just want to keep a high humidity environment around these young cuttings while the roots are developing, just so the leaves don't dry out and the cutting itself doesn't dry out. All right, so we've shown you how we generate our cuttings. Now what we're going to do is show you what we do with our cuttings next. So this is a cutting that was taken maybe at the end of fall. You can see it's quite long, so it was probably a big piece cut off. You can even see a little swelling down there at a branch union, probably where we cut it on the original plant. And so what we're going to do is just wire this guy up. It's pretty straight. This straightness can be fine for banyan style trees where you're looking for that straightness and you want them to kind of build a big kind of flat canopy. We're not looking for that in this case. We've got a couple like that. We tend to put some crazy movement in it just to give it some interest. Gives us options in the future, which we always like. And so what I'm going to do is just use some of my recycled wire here. This is a pretty thick gauge because we really want it to stick and hold. We don't want to be fighting it. And we're going to take this off anyway. So if it does bite in, not a huge deal. We just dart that into the soil. So you can see, zoom. And what we do is just wrap that around the base of the tree pretty tight. Looking to have some good control here. And we do want to give the base some good movement because that's where the tree starts. And then we'll just work that up, avoiding any leaves. These will be bud sites in the future if we do some trimming. So we want to be sure that we're not impacting that tree's ability to grow too much. And let's work this up, back that leaf out, don't want to trap any. And we'll just leave a nice open coil at the top, since we know that this guy will be growing. And so now we've got that wire wrapped on there. We're just going to give it some crazy bends. Not really sure what we're going for. We're going to go for maybe some classic S shape shenanigans. Get the base really twisted out top. Something like that. So we got some craziness, wrapping it in all directions. Because these trees are 3D, so you want to have lots of options for us in the future. And that's it. So that's a cutting. We'll let this set. It'll probably even bite in. We'll let it go a little bit, not too much. Then we'll back that off. Maybe crop the top, see what we've grown out. Some of these lateral bud sites here will now take off that the tree is bent. And we'll take it from there. And that's basically what we do with our cuttings once they're rooted. We plant them in their individual pots, let them grow on a little bit, recover with some heat. This guy will be fed, and we'll likely be doing some work probably just after early spring on it, because it will have taken off. And so that's how we generate these trees, from cuttings to these more developed trees and onto something more bonsai-like in the future. So that's it for now. If you are interested in any of our younger trees and you want to work on some, get your feet wet with bonsai, do check out our website, where we'll be throwing up more of these in the springtime for sale at a reasonable price. And we hope to hear from you soon. If you have any questions, comments, leave them in our video. And we'll be happy to show you more of the work we do on the nursery in the coming days. Thank you. Bye.